Fallout 76 is only a month away from us being able to play it. The beta is coming out sometime in October, so between now and then, I want to close out some of Fallout 4's remaining lore aspects, things that I probably won't come back to when Fallout 76 is out. And one of the big questions hanging around that I just don't think enough people are asking is, who takes your kid? If you're like me, you've probably been through Fallout 4's cryogenic scene several times at this point, whether it be through various playthroughs or just to kind of see what's going on. Everyone in this intro is super notable. You have you yourself, the player character, aka the main protagonist of Fallout 4. Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. You have your wife, who is like that secondary character. Unfortunately, she does get taken out in the intro, but she still does have a well-documented backstory. You have Kellogg, who is a pretty big component of the game also. The first few hours of the main story are all focused around finding out just who that guy is. And then Sean, which finding him is literally your motivation throughout the first half of the game. But wait, no, there's one more character on that list. The woman that takes Sean. You watch her rip your son out of the arms of your wife, and even though you get a very satisfying conclusion with Kellogg, what about this bitch? She's pretty much just as responsible as Kellogg in the whole ordeal. Yet, after completing the intro sequence, you never see her again. Every other character during that sequence plays a pretty major role throughout all of Fallout 4's story, except this one. So who is she? Well, let's actually take a look at her in the intro. She seems to be a younger female character. Based on her voice and the interaction, I would guess in her 20s. That intro sequence for Fallout 4 takes place in the year 2227. You actually wake up from the cryo sleep in the year 2287, so 60 years do pass in between those two events. So we have to find some character in Fallout 4 that's roughly 80 or so years old. Searching around the Institute, I really couldn't find anything. Everyone in the Institute is fairly young, outside of Sean or Father himself, and even digging deeper into some of the logs, you still don't find much. But there is an older character in Fallout 4 that plays a fairly central role, and one theory by a user named Kosai connects these two theories. The idea being that Mama Murphy was the person in that suit that does take your son. So this is actually surprisingly plausible, and I know a lot of users that actually take this as canon after reading about it. Interacting with and speaking with Mama Murphy in Fallout 4, she knows an odd amount of information. She credits it to the site, but what if in reality she knows what she knows based on the Institute's findings? We know the Institute has spies everywhere, whether it be synths you find in some of the major locations in Fallout 4, or even their creation of artificial animals and using crows as spies. One exchange that you do have with her that is particularly interesting is you leaving that icebox. Her exact words being, "I saw you leave that icebox," that being the cryogenic chamber that you were in. Maybe it's not some supernatural or special ability, but rather she was just there. She saw you in that, and now she put two and two together to realize that, yeah, you just got out somehow. Your character would look exactly the same despite her aging 60 years because you were frozen. But even beyond that, let's go all the way back to that first introductory sequence. When Kellogg actually takes out Nora, you can see Mama Murphy, or who might be Mama Murphy, react in an almost shocked or disturbed way. It seems like that person genuinely wasn't expecting for somebody to get murdered and for them to kind of be an accessory to that. And then let's say hypothetically she stayed with the Institute for a short while after, did a few more things, and eventually fled into the rest of the Commonwealth. But now as you find her today, she's a heavy chem user. Could this be for fueling her site, or alternatively, maybe it's trying to forget all of the dark things she had done in the past for the Institute? It would really give her character a lot more structure, give her justification for some of her present actions, and actually explain some of the dialogue options you do encounter. There's some alternate endings to this theory. Some people argue that she's still working for the Institute, just infiltrating Preston's unit, or even alternatively that she does have genuine powers with her site. But at the end of the day, I feel like what this theory does is actually connect two characters' storylines. Whether you want to believe the site at first glance or not, Mama Murphy has a very mysterious and really unexplored backstory. Same with that character you encounter in the intro. You really never hear anything more about her. There's no glaring evidence to disprove this theory, at least none that I've uncovered, and I think it makes the game far more interesting. Either way, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this one. I'd love to know in the comments down below, what are your thoughts or opinions on this particular theory? Do you buy it? Do you want to buy it? Do you think maybe Bethesda implemented this originally and just never made that connection in the game, maybe for a lack of time, or they couldn't find a cool or concise way to actually connect those two characters? characters as one. Obviously, we had other major twists like the identity of father, so it wouldn't honestly be that far-fetched. Either way, as always, again, I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.